Hello, everybody. This is Dr. David Jockers, and today we're talking about how to follow the ketogenic diet without a gallbladder. And, I get this question all the time. People are saying, I really want to follow the ketogenic diet. I've heard about it, but I don't have a gallbladder, or I've had gallstones, or I just have a really sluggish gallbladder and it causes problems. I get a lot of pain in my abdominal region when I eat a high-fat meal. And so we're going to go through really how to troubleshoot that. I'm going to talk about 7 key strategies to apply if you don't have a gallbladder, if you have a sluggish gallbladder, if you maybe have elevated liver enzymes on lab work. If you're in that camp, then these strategies are absolutely essential. And even if you're not in the camp, many of these strategies are just extremely beneficial to overall health. So they're strategies, I personally apply, and I think they're going to really help you. So let's dive into this. If you don't know me, my name is Dr. David Jockers, and I am a natural health doctor. So I am actually a doctor of natural medicine, and I have a clinic called Exodus Health Center in Kennesaw, just outside of Atlanta, Kennesaw, Georgia, where I see clients. And we offer chiropractic care, functional nutrition, functional medicine, and as well as advanced healing therapies. And I speak all around the world at churches, different companies and organizations. I'm also in a lot of online health summits. You can see a bunch of them here. And so anyways, this is my family right here. So my beautiful wife, Angel, and my twin boys, David and Joshua. And that picture was actually taken at the Grand Canyon. Most beautiful picture I've ever seen. Obviously, I've got my 3 favorites in there, but then also right at sunset. And somehow I got both boys to smile. Unbelievable. I still don't know how I pulled that off, but I did. So anyways, enough about me. Let's jump into the topic. Why would somebody want to follow a ketogenic diet? Well, for a number of reasons. Number one, it is the best nutrition plan for reducing inflammation in the body. Inflammation is basically a part of our immune system that helps to break down tissue in our body. And inflammation is key for reducing infection. However, it can also cause a lot of damage to the tissues of our body. And most diseases, cancer, autoimmune diseases, things like heart disease and diabetes and Alzheimer's disease, these are all related to high levels of inflammation. So a ketogenic diet, reducing inflammation, helps reduce our risk of developing these sorts of chronic diseases. Also helps improve fat burning. So it takes us from a sugar burner into a fat burner, where our body is using fat as its primary energy source. When you use fat as your primary energy source, you keep blood sugar very stable, which helps improve your overall mental clarity, your cognitive acceleration, your ability to think sharply and quickly. And I love that. It's one of the reasons why I do it personally, because I consider myself an occupational athlete, meaning that I'm not out there performing in a sporting event, but I'm performing on a daily basis. I'm trying to put out great content for you guys. I'm performing for my clients, the people that I'm working with, to try to help them achieve their health goals. They need me to be at my highest level. The ketogenic diet really helps me with that, helps me have abundant energy, really good for skin. When you follow this, you'll notice that your skin just is softer. It has better tone. So the actual skin itself has better tone. It's not saggy. And better skin, better color overall as well. So really powerful for that, because it downregulates inflammation on the skin. Basically, bad skin is a sign of inflammation that's affecting the skin cells. Reduces cravings. You really don't crave sugar or carbs when you're following this, once you've gotten into ketosis. And then it also helps improve and create new mitochondria. And the mitochondria are these little factories within every cell of the body, and they produce the energy within the cell. And so the more of those that we have, the better overall anti-aging effects we're going to have, better our body is going to be at producing energy, at protecting the DNA, and overall just an advantage in life. And so the ketogenic diet is really for people that want to kick butt in life, and that's why I follow it. And so what does that look like? Basically it's a high good fat diet. Moderate protein, low carbohydrate diet. So you can see some of the foods here we have here. Okay, wild-caught salmon, which is got great healthy fats, a lot of good clean protein, avocados, coconut oil, all kinds of stuff like that. Where are we going to get our carbs from? Non-starchy vegetables, maybe a tiny bit of fruit, If you're going to do fruit, it's got to be things like berries. Lemons and limes are great as well. They have no sugar. Berries are lower glycemic and they have tons of nutrients in them. So those would be beneficial. But it's really a high good fat diet. And so basically, traditional diet, we eat some sort of something that's higher in carbs, right? So the typical modern American food pyramid, we've got carbohydrates and starches at the bottom. So if somebody eats bread or rice or something like that, glucose goes up, sugar in the bloodstream goes up. So the pancreas secretes insulin. Insulin's job is to take glucose, put it in the cell, and produce energy. Now, insulin also produces inflammation. That's one of the reasons why a high carb diet increases inflammation, and it's linked to things like heart disease, cancer, autoimmune disease, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. These are all linked with high blood sugar and a high carb diet. Whereas a ketogenic diet is low in sugar, high in good fat. So what happens? Sugar goes down, blood sugar stabilizes, the body starts to use this alternative fuel source, fat. And it does that by having these enzymes, as well as bile, which we're going to talk about today, and a pancreatic enzyme called lipase, which breaks down these triglycerides and turns them into fatty acids. They travel to the liver. Liver converts them into something called ketones, which the body can utilize for energy, immediate energy source for the brain. So this is how this works. Now, you can see off this food guide pyramid for the ketogenic diet, how we have these good fats. That should be the primary point of calories, should be coming from these fats: grass-fed butter, pasture-raised eggs, coconut oil, coconut products, avocados, olives, olive oil, things like that should be really the primary calorie source. Now, somebody with a ketogenic diet, somebody with a gallbladder problem is going to think, but if I eat those fats, I'm going to have tremendous pain in my digestive system. I'm going to have stools that float. I'm going to have all these different problems. And that's very true. You can't handle a lot of these long chain fats. And that's what I'm going to go through. Okay. But just so you understand, this is really where the diet looks like. We have these good fats at the bottom, antioxidants coming from herbs, things like lemons and limes, non-starchy vegetables, small amount of berries can be good. We get tons of antioxidants out of those. And then clean protein, so grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, pasture-raised organic chicken, turkey, fiber, nuts and seeds, so small amounts of pumpkin seeds, healthy nuts, things like that. Fermented foods, which if we're looking at somebody with a gallbladder problem, fermented foods actually should probably replace where the nuts and seeds are. Nuts and seeds should be used more scarcely, and the fermented food should be used in more abundance. So we would actually replace those. That would be a little bit lower down, and we'd be doing a lot of kimchi, pickles, sauerkraut, coconut milk yogurt, coconut water, kefir, things like that. And then right at the very top, natural sweeteners. So stevia is really the best one for a ketogenic diet, but some people can handle things like xylitol. Also, monk fruit is really good. So that can work too. And you can see some of the recipes here from my Navigating the Ketogenic Diet program. We've got things like chocolate coconut cups, coconut cream cups, which are amazing, coconut milk ice cream, really, really good stuff. But here's the thing. If you have a gallbladder problem, you're going to have trouble releasing bile. If you don't have a gallbladder, you still have bile because the liver is what produces bile. The liver is this big red thing that's in this picture right in the center. The gallbladder, of course, is identified there. It's a small little green sac. The gallbladder is basically a sac to hold extra bile, because our ancestors, they would feast and famine, meaning that they didn't eat small meals. They either fasted or they ate very large meals, and those large meals would oftentimes have a lot of fat. So they needed this extra reserve of bile, because bile is very key for emulsifying fats. Like think about soap getting oils off of a pan. That's what bile does. It emulsifies the fats, which helps basically make them more digestible. They're now digestible and usable for our body. So we need the bile in order to do that. Bile is also key for fatty acid metabolism and also very important for the absorption of fat-soluble nutrients, fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K and K2. In fact, if somebody is very low in vitamin D, in spite of supplementing with high amounts, most likely they're having a fatty acid metabolism problem. That's most likely the issue, and they're not able to actually get and utilize, break down, and and actually utilize that vitamin D because it's fat soluble. It's also, when you supplement vitamin D, it's also very key to supplement it with fats. That's very important. Okay, so fatty acid metabolism, the excretion of waste products. Bile helps bind to things and pull them out of our system. It also helps kill off bad microbes. See, bile is bactericidal, meaning that it kills bacteria. And so normally we shouldn't have much bacteria in the small intestine. Part of the reason is because of bile being released there. Bile should naturally help keep bacteria count down in the small intestine. We have a lot more bacteria in our large intestine. However, if we're not getting good bile secretions, then we're going to have an overgrowth of bacteria in the small intestine. So that's a big issue. We want to make sure that we've got good bile secretions, as long as, we have a gallbladder, and really a good liver too, because the liver, even if you had your gallbladder taken out, the liver again is what produces the bile and will still release it. But very important for keeping bacteria down. Also very key for blood sugar metabolism. In fact, there are bile receptors, the FXR and TGR5 receptors in the small intestine that bile interacts with, and they help to regulate both the lipid or fat and carb metabolism. They also help to downregulate inflammation. It's the bile acids that actually activate these receptors. So if we're not secreting enough bile, we're actually going to have more inflammation, a lot more inflammation in our gut. We're also going to have poor blood sugar stability and, of course, fatty acid metabolism. So bile is so key, and liver function, liver and bile, so key. So if you had your gallbladder taken out, so critical that you follow the steps, because you still are producing bile. We just got to make sure the liver is healthy to produce it properly. So what are some symptoms that somebody would have a gallbladder disease? Well, nausea and vomiting. So if you're nauseous a lot, especially after meals, could be an issue with your gallbladder. Fatty, greasy stools. If you see your stools kind of rise, kind of staying near the top when you go to the bathroom and they're like a little greasy, that could be a problem with the gallbladder. Pain between the shoulder blades, a referral point for the gallbladder. Abdominal pain. Chronic gas and bloating can be an issue with gallbladder. Itchy skin. That's a really common one. A lot of people tell me they have very itchy skin throughout the day. That can be an issue with the gallbladder. Yellowing of the skin. That can be a liver gallbladder issue called jaundice, because the bile is not being recycled and ends up creating a yellowing of the skin. Headaches and migraines, very commonly associated with gallbladder. Constipation, diarrhea, or irritable bowel type issues, very commonly associated with gallbladder. Light-colored stools, because bile is actually what gives a stool its brownish color. So if you're pooping and it's like yellow or white, that's a sign that you may not be getting the bile in there. Sexual dysfunction. When your body's under stress or it has issues with gallbladder, you are going to have lower libido. A bitter taste that's you commonly are feeling in your mouth could be an issue. Fibromyalgia, hypothyroidism. Thyroid and gallbladder go hand in hand. Oftentimes people with hypothyroidism are not producing enough bile. They have gallbladder issues, and vice versa. People with gallbladder issues oftentimes have issues with their thyroid. Dry skin and hair, very common because we're not getting the fat-soluble nutrients. Chemical sensitivities. History of different types of drugs, which can affect the liver and the gallbladder. Weight loss resistance, because we don't have good blood sugar metabolism and fatty acid metabolism, because that's a product of good bile release. Skin rashes. Skin rashes can be a common issue with bile. A constant runny nose. How many people have that? They're just, their nose is runny no matter what time of year. That can be an issue. And then IT, iliotibial band syndrome, that doesn't seem to be going away, can actually not be necessarily a musculoskeletal problem, but can actually be an issue with the gallbladder. So let's jump into the 7 strategies for following a ketogenic diet without a gallbladder. So these are all really key. Number 1, bile-healthy foods. Okay, we're going to go through a list. Ginger and dandelion. We want a good hydration. We want to really take care of the stomach acid, digestive enzymes, and using something with ox bile, so getting bile support. Also, we want to make sure that we're not consuming a lot of these very long-chain fats that normally would be healthy. We want to make sure we're not consuming a lot of those. And then we want to use a smaller medium-chain fat, something called MCT oil can be really helpful. So bile-healthy foods. These are the best foods to help the bile. Apple cider vinegar. So you do apple cider vinegar and water. You could do lime, mint, coconut water kefir, which is one of my favorites. Lime and mint, so good for gallbladder and liver function. Lemons and limes in general, the vitamin C, the bioflavonoids, potassium in there, so powerful for liver and gallbladder. Celery, really good. Celery, cucumbers, amazing for gallbladder and liver. Parsley, so our bitter herbs, we say bitter is good for the liver, and really anything good for the liver is good for the gallbladder. So parsley, mint, cilantro, radishes, dandelion greens, milk thistle, ginger, these things are all bitter. So that, again, those bitter herbs, very good for the liver. Bitter, good for the liver. Turmeric, very powerful anti-inflammatory, great for the liver, great for the gallbladder. Doing fermented vegetables. We talked about sauerkraut, kimchi would be in there, pickles, which obviously are fermented cucumbers, it would be great. And then green tea, drinking green tea as well. Really, really good for liver and gallbladder. A couple other good teas, dandelion tea, and then ginger tea. Ginger tea is so good for helping basically activate serotonin receptors throughout our digestive system, and that helps to reduce nausea, helps stimulate bile acids as well as stomach acid, and really all of our digestive juices. Helps with pancreatic enzymes. So good for the body, drinking ginger tea, dandelion tea, absolutely amazing, really good for the immune system. We want to make sure we're drinking a lot of water. We've got to stay well hydrated. Hydration is going to help the liver and the gallbladder a lot. If you have a sluggish gallbladder, one of the keys there is dehydration. So I always recommend to people, drink 2 glasses of water after waking up. Why? Because it helps activate your internal organs like your liver, your gallbladder, helps them pump out wastes, helps basically pull bad bacteria and microbes out of your system, reducing your microbial load, helps rehydrate your body, so good for your body. It's also a good idea to drink a glass of water 30 minutes before taking a bath or shower to help stabilize your blood pressure, and then drink before going to bed, although not necessarily a ton before you go to bed, because number one, most people are dehydrated throughout the day, but of course, if you drink too much before you go to bed, then you are going to wake up in the middle of the night and not sleep as well. So really good idea to drink a ton in the morning when you wake up. I personally drink about 1 gallon of water between the time I wake up and before I eat my first meal, which is for me usually between 12 and 2 o'clock. I've drank 1 gallon of water by that period of time, and that's so key, is to be drinking water like that, just really, really drinking a ton of water to help flush your system. 10 ways to improve your stomach acid levels. We've already talked about a lot of these. We talked about ginger, because stomach acid is what actually helps. If we don't produce enough stomach acid, we're not going to produce enough bile. Stomach acid helps trigger the bile release. So the actual acidity of the bolus, or the food that's been broken down, getting out of the stomach and going into the small intestine, should be very acidic. And that triggers the receptors in the first part of the jejunum, or the initial part of the small intestine, to initiate the liver to secrete bile and the pancreas to secrete enzymes. And so important that we have good stomach acid. So how do we improve stomach acid? Well, things we've already talked about: lemon, lime, apple cider vinegar, doing a lot of liquid nutrition throughout the day. I'm a huge fan of doing protein shakes throughout the day, or bone broth, so good. Ginger tea, like we talked about. Super hydrating outside of meal times. We talked about that. Drinking a lot of water in the morning. Now, we do want to hold off on water after a meal for at least 30 minutes. Okay, at least 30 minutes after a meal, we want to hold off to allow the stomach acid to do its job. We also want to drink very little with meat-containing meals. The only thing you really want to drink is a little bit if you're taking supplements. Other than that, if you have enough vegetables in your meal, you really shouldn't need more water. And so when you're consuming more of a very vegetable-rich diet, which really ketogenic diet should be, then you're providing enough water with that. You shouldn't need to drink a lot of water with your meal. Fermented vegetables, we talked about sauerkraut, pickles, kimchi, so good for the body. Fermented drinks, so things like apple cider vinegar is a fermented drink. One of my favorites, coconut lime, or lime mint coconut water kefir that I had on the Bile Healthy Foods slide. It's Kavita. You can find it at your health food stores. So really good. And probably the most important thing here is eating your largest meal, or your solid food meal, when you're most relaxed. I'm a huge fan of doing liquid nutrition throughout the day, and then in the evening, when most people are relaxed, having your solid food meal. Now, if you take a siesta every day, you can do your solid food or your meat and vegetable meal in the middle of the day, as long as you have at least an hour to relax after that meal, where you're not running around trying to do errands and stressed. Because that stress will reduce your body's ability to produce enough stomach acid, bile, and enzymes and cause problems. So we have a whole video on how to improve your stomach acid levels, so I'll resort to that for the rest. Okay, now one supplement that I'm a big fan of using with people that don't have gallbladders is this Thorn BioJist. We have it on my website, drjockers.com. You can find it on our store. It's called BioJist. And what does it have in it? Has stomach acid support, has pepsin, which helps to break down protein, pancreatin, which is a complex of pancreatic enzymes to help break down and digest carbohydrates, fats, so it has lipase in it, as well as proteins, and it has ox bile. So it has that bile support to help emulsify the foods if your gallbladder and liver are not functioning well. So I always put all my clients that have a poor functioning gallbladder, a poor functioning stomach acid on this product right here, BioJist. So again, you can find that at our website, drjockers.com. We also like to use MCT oil, or a particular brand that I use is Bulletproof MCT Oil, which is made out of coconut, but it's actually processed to where it is 100% fats that don't need bile to break down. So when you look at coconut oil is 85% longer chain fats, 15% medium chain, truly medium chain fats, because lauric acid needs bile. It needs to be broken down through bile, it needs to be emulsified. And lauric acid is considered a medium chain fat. However, the real medium chain fats are caprylic and capric acid, which is what the CT oil is comprised of. And these you don't need bile to break down. So with my gallbladder and liver people, and really just even for myself, I use a lot of this XCT oil. I put it on salad dressings, I cook in it. And if you don't have a gallbladder or liver, you definitely want to be using this, putting it in your shakes. You want to be cooking with this. You also want to be putting it on as a salad dressing because it won't stress your liver and your gallbladder. Again, this is another product you can find at drjockers.com on our store page. We sell this XCT oil. It's awesome stuff. Definitely want to use it. And if you want more information really about how to follow the ketogenic diet and get these sort of results, how to burn fat and build lean body tissue, how to improve your mental focus and concentration, how to improve your blood sugar, reduce inflammation and pain, and reduce chronic disease, I also want to invite you to join my Navigating the Ketogenic Diet online course. This course is completely online. We have got over 50 different videos, including recipe videos, as well as training videos where I go over a number of different topics involved with the ketogenic diet. We have a ketogenic diet manual, as well as a recipe book, meal plan, quick start guide, a snack guide, all different types of really good stuff on the Navigating the Ketogenic Diet course. And you can find this on my website, drjockers.com, under programs, the Navigating the Ketogenic Diet course. And because you listen to it today, normally this is a $97 program, but because you've listened this far, I'm going to give you a coupon code. It's keto, capital K, lowercase ETO 50. So capital K, lowercase ETO 50. Put that in at checkout. You'll save $50 on the program, bringing it down to $47. Everything you need right there in the program. So if you've been listening this far, it's because you want to be able to use the ketogenic diet online program. Really, you just want to use a ketogenic diet program and diet in order to achieve the health goals that you have. And so if that's you, then I definitely invite you to take our course. I guarantee you'll love it. We've had over 500 people go through it. Phenomenal results, getting testimonials every single day. And so that's my hope and prayer for you, is that you're able to use a course like this to accomplish your health goals. So hope you enjoyed the training, and we look forward to seeing you on a future online training. God bless you guys, and we will see you next time.